Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to walk you through the 7 reasons why you're struggling with outreach and getting your first partnership. So if you're watching this, I'm going to assume that you want to be a shadow operator and work with influencers to help them monetize. If that's the case, then this video is for you. And maybe you've gotten into this business model recently, like in the past couple weeks or a month, and you're at the stage where finding creators, reaching out to them, but maybe not getting many replies, or the replies you are getting, they're just not interested. So if that sounds like you, keep watching. I'm going to show you why and help you fix it. So let's get into the video. Now, I've been seeing a ton of people who are getting into this business model all say the same thing, and it's I can't get anyone to respond to my outreach. Now, there are so many variables as to why that might be happening. And what I've seen is, they're sending 100 DMs and getting no replies. And usually the problem isn't volume, it's how they're doing it. So just before I get into the 7 reasons, let me first share with you why you should actually listen to me and kind of some of the clients I've worked with so far. So I've been doing this business model for a couple years. I've worked with multiple influencers who have millions of followers, and I've generated over 7 figures through this business model. So let me show you now some of my clients who have been working with me since this month and have already secured a partnership call, and some of them have already signed on their first partnership. And just so that you can see that this is real and give you confidence that you can make it possible for yourself. And all of these people that I'm showing you right now, when they started with me, they were all beginners basically, and they have not done shadow operating before. This is their first online business, and as you can see, they have all secured partnership calls, which is pretty cool to see. So that's a bit of inspiration and hope for you, just to show you that this is possible. And the clients that have worked with me this month have already secured their partnership call. So it's not the fact that you're not working hard enough, it's that you're wasting time doing the wrong thing and you just don't know the correct strategy. So let's get into the first reason. So reason number 1, you're only finding creators on one platform. So I'm going to assume most of you are just looking on Instagram for influencers. And the thing is, Instagram, of course, is really good, and it's a platform I recommend to do outreach. But the problem is, if you limit yourself to one platform, it's like putting all your eggs in one basket. So for example, YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, X, yeah, and Instagram, of course. But don't just limit yourself to Instagram, because you have a ton of agencies, fans, and followers reaching out to these influencers that you are competing with in a way. So simply just expanding your channels of where you find these creators, you will 3 to 5 times your response rate. So that's the very first thing I would do. Now, the second reason, your Instagram profile isn't optimized for credibility. This is super important because if you're sending DMs on Instagram, while the influencer will probably check out your profile and see if you're legit or not. So having something in your bio, having a clear photo of your face really helps, and maybe some post to show that you're like a real person. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen people just outreach from an account with like 0 followers, like no profile photo. Of course, no one will reply to you if you're presenting yourself like that, just because you don't look like a real person. So that would be my second reason that I've seen. Like, you could literally reach out to 1,000 creators and get nothing if your profile isn't optimized properly. So that's the second one. I hope that makes sense and is pretty obvious to you. But yeah, first impressions do matter. And if an influencer goes on your profile and doesn't think you're a real person, well, they're just going to judge you within 5 seconds and move on. So that's super important to do. So that's why, like, if you have a weak profile, your DMs will get ignored, and it doesn't really matter how good your message is or how many times you send it. So it's better to fix this root problem. Now, moving on to the third reason, you're not doing multi-channel outreach. So again, I'm going to assume you're just sticking with Instagram and you're just sending DMs. That's probably the strategy you're doing, and that's probably why you're not getting any replies and it's not working. Most influencers don't really check their DMs, and if they do, they will only reply to someone who looks real, like going back to my second point. But you're just sending a DM in a flood of messages. So if you can outreach not only on DM but also email as well, that's multiple touch points, and that will give you a higher chance of them responding. So that's exactly why I don't recommend to solely rely on the DMs. I'd always recommend to outreach on multiple channels, DM them, email, whatever else you can, and just get more touch points. The more touch points, the better, and the higher chance of response. So that's the third reason. Moving on to the next is you probably don't have a clear process. You're just winging it. And I understand like the desire to kind of get this business model going. And of course, you can get results very fast, but you really need a clear process. Like you could spend weeks, if not months, wasting time on doing this because without the right strategy, you're just kind of burning your tires. So it's really important to follow a proven, clear process that you know works so that you don't waste any more time and you can start making money sooner. Because every week, every month that goes by that you're not making 10K plus per month is a month where essentially you've lost 10,000. That's how I view it. It's an opportunity cost. So for me, I'd rather follow the correct proven process from someone who's done it and just get the results faster than keep wasting more months and more time and just being stuck in the same position. So that's honestly a reason I've seen people just reach out and just try to get into the DMs. So send a very short message and then they go back and forth a million times. And it's just super inefficient. I don't know like where it came from, but I keep seeing people just keep doing this thing where they just send one line message just to get in the DMs. And then as soon as the influencer figures out their real intention, they suddenly get ghosted or say they're not interested. So I really don't recommend to do that. You need to follow a proven process. And I think something to really help you understand this step, it's not a random act, this whole outreach. There's a proper system and it's a repeatable process that you can follow. So yeah, like without a proper process, you're basically gambling with your time, gambling with your efforts and energy. And with a process, you get to systematically improve and basically have that peace of mind that as long as you keep doing it, results will come. So yeah, hopefully after this video, you can take this information and actually apply it. That's the purpose of this whole video, is so that you can improve what you're doing. But yeah, let's get on to the fifth reason, which is your message doesn't lead with value. So what I've seen and what I think you're probably doing is just leading with a very basic question. You haven't stated in your message how you're actually going to add value to them, and there's been no curiosity for them to reply. So you're probably sending a generic message to everyone, and the real problem is you get lost in a sea of messages and there's no reason for them to respond because you sound like everyone else. Now, I know we want to be shadow operators, but I don't want you to be like so in the shadows that they don't even see you. Like we first need to get their attention and we need to be able to get them to hop on a call with us, and so that we can start this partnership, right? So that's super important. We need to lead with value. We want to give before we ask, and also make it specific to them, okay? So just to sum that up, if you're sending a generic message, it will be ignored. If you lead with value, then you have a much, much higher chance of getting a response and moving on to the next step. All right, so let's get on to the sixth reason, which is you're not following up and you essentially quit after one message. The crazy thing is, I'm going to say 80% of the replies you'll get and potential partnership calls booked will come through the follow-ups. And the reason why is because no one does it. So I'm telling you, like, honestly, this is something that you really need to do. The follow-ups are super important. These influencers are busy. They don't get a chance to check every message. And sometimes what I've seen is, like from my clients, right? They'll follow up with an influencer and then the influencer will thank them for reminding them because they've been so busy. Just one message is too easy to ignore. So that's why I say not only follow up, but also do multi-channel outreach. That way you maximize your chance of them not only seeing the message, but also replying. So if you're not following up, you're leaving money on the table. Like the very successful shadow operators that I know do this, and they follow up multiple times to ensure they have the best chance of getting a reply. So super important there. If you're not following up, then that's probably why you're not getting replies. Now, moving on to the very last reason, you're probably just not doing enough volume. Now, I know I said at the beginning that volume is probably not your problem. But what I will say is, anyway, I've seen like people not do enough. They'll come to me and say they've sent 30 messages or 50 messages and they haven't got a reply. On top of all these other 6 things that I've mentioned. So imagine that, right? You've sent 50 messages, you've only done it on one platform, you haven't optimized your profile, you haven't reached out on multiple platforms, you're winging it, you're not leading with value, you're not following up. Now you can see why you're struggling and why it's so difficult to get a partnership, because these, like, honestly, these are the 7 reasons why. So when I say you're not doing enough volume, it's once you've ticked all these boxes, this first 6, that's the last sort of thing that, and why I put it at the very bottom, that you need to fix. So as soon as you've done the first 6, then go and do the volume and get 100 out, and you really are maximizing your chance of getting a reply. So yeah, those were the 7 reasons. And lastly, if you're still watching this video and you resonate with these reasons, then I have a suspicion. Is number 1, you're attempting this business model on your own, so you don't have a clear process. You might not know what you're doing, or you've seen a couple of my videos and trying to piece it together. Or the second thing is you might have already joined a course, but it doesn't give you that personalized support. So you're probably in a group with like thousands of other people, all struggling with the same thing, which is outreach and getting a client. And if you have a question, one of the admins might respond to you and tell you to, go watch this video in the course, but you just feel kind of stuck alone and this part is really difficult for you. So if that is your situation and you feel like what I'm saying is resonating with you, well then either way, look, if you're watching this video, it seems to me your current process is not working. And if you continue down this path, you will just be wasting more valuable time. And the way you can kind of see if what you're doing is working or not is just ask yourself, have I got a partnership call booked yet? Have I signed an influence on yet? If the answer is no, well then there you go. So what I'd recommend for you is, if you are serious about making this business work, then the best way is to learn from someone who has actually done it themselves. So for any of you listening that is serious about this and feel like that one-on-one support to help you get results faster, then I do encourage you to click that first link in the description where you can apply to work with me. So it's a one-on-one mentorship. I literally take you each step of the process to make sure you're doing everything properly. And I give you my proven resources, templates, and scripts that my other clients, like you can see, are using and getting calls booked within weeks. So yeah, that's basically it for this video. If you found it valuable, please like, subscribe, and see you guys on the next one.